This is a test of the Boundary Park alert system. Hello and welcome to the Latics Football Phone-In with me and him.
Hello.
So, you lot are so predictable. so predictable. It's like pulling teeth trying to get you all to call up when we're winning. As soon as we lose a few games, we've got a queue.
You only ring when we're losing.
So it's very predictable. There are people in the comments who are anticipating the boiling of the piss. And, well, we're here to deliver.
Yeah. Stand and deliver. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Good evening, Chris. Good evening, Ash. Good evening, Jenny.
Really need a Zen message.
Tommy T's been waiting for this since Saturday.
Good stuff. Sad little life.
Oh, Barry. I'm not. You can't be called Barry. If you're called Barry and you're not that Barry, then
Sorry.
change your name to something else, because I'm not showing anything on screen by anyone called Barry for obvious reasons.
That's the one.
Okay. Are we a bit dark? Do we need to turn lights on?
No, it's fine.
Is that all right?
It's all good.
It's a bit dark. Anyway, should we crack on? Who do you want to talk to first?
Let's do Gaz.
Gaz, because he's doing what at 9 o'clock?
He's watching The Traitors like a big woman.
Because I don't have catch-up TV. Can't what? You have to watch it live, do you?
Yes, because the dodgy Fire Stick doesn't record.
Oh. Wow, what channel's it on?
BBC iPlayer.
It's on BBC, innit?
Yeah, but I don't pay a TV licence.
All right. And can you just state for the your full name and address, please?
I don't pay my TV licence, and I have IPTV.
Good stuff.
And your name is Brad. You've come in twice now. Will you behave?
My name is Barry Owen.
Where's the Red Police?
It's all right. I'll keep you. Anyway, let's crack on.
Come on.
So, Gaz, you were on the other week. You were concerned, I think. How are you feeling now?
More concerned. I was feeling very deflated after Tuesday, in the manner of how far behind we are York on the pitch. That concerned me. Although we saw it coming, it did concern me, because I just thought, well, we knew what they were going to do. We had absolutely nothing to match it. And it looked like we'd been dropped out of a 1980s time zone and put on a pitch in the modern day against a team that were playing progressive football. Don't get me wrong, they weren't prime Barcelona, but they had a system. They played the ball on the floor when they needed to. They went long when they needed to. They had runners, they had rotations, they pulled us all over the place, and we were just completely outmatched. We couldn't win one individual battle. The bizarre thing of the night was when we went 4-4-2, we moved our right wing back to left wing and our attacking midfielder to right wing.
That was a bit odd.
It was beyond odd. After that, we then go back to 3-5-2. We take Reid off, who was probably the only player who got into a sprint in the first half, be it trying to close down three men on his own, which was completely unfair on him. I'm not a big, massive fan of him, but I thought the lad were doing what he could in the first half. We then bring Fondop on, who he should have started if we wanted to play typical melon ball. He was the only one who made a game of it, give the York defenders something to do. And we often puff, but it is what it is. That's what we've got. We might have been in the game if we'd have done that from the start and started with the right people. Anyway,
Reid and Norwood was a very strange choice, wasn't it? I think.
Well, it was strange to drop your top scorer, firstly. So that's what's strange. It's then strange to bring Norwood in, who clearly still carrying a strain or whatever it is, because you could see he wasn't fit and wasn't comfortable. And then he's played Reid again, started him twice. He had 3 shots on target in the first half Saturday, and then he's brought off after 50 minutes then it's just all bizarre. So Reid, who's not played and been ostracised for 12 months, has been brought in and started ahead of the new signing, who's already match fit. There's nothing logical on the pitch at the moment. Anyway, let's move on. So we're thinking about Saturday, aren't we? We then get news today, Jez has gone. All right, with what we're doing, no massive loss. But again, that lad has been hung out to dry. He started our first 7 games and he was dangerous, left wing forward, getting at his man. All right, there weren't always loads of end product, but the fullbacks didn't like him. There were a couple of games where the managers took their fullbacks off because they were on toast. And he was doing okay. We knew he was going to be in and out because he's young, but he was doing okay. He's then been brought on. Ross Coyne nailed it Saturday about Jez. He was brought on right wing back for an SOS. Completely hung out to dry. It's not his position. You may as well keep Caprice on. So Jez has gone when we're crying out for a bit of pace. Some people see it as a loss, some people don't. Long term, I'm concerned about it because it's just yet another young player who we've treated badly. And then an hour before here, I find out Alex Reid's gone. Again, if he'd have gone last week, no big deal. But why has he started the last 2 games? Because 2 games in a team isn't a run to see how you do. That's not a run. He started ahead of Fondop, who's our top scorer. The new lad we brought in, which I've just mentioned. We played a completely opposite style of football that's going to work for Alex Reid. And I'm worried sick now that Mickey Mellon's lost the plot. Whoever's helping him with recruitment's lost the plot. And call it PTSD, call it anxiety, call it what you want, but I am incredibly fearful we're going to see a repeat of what happened last season, but earlier. I just don't know how we're going to. I can't see how we're going to turn it around. I feel like we're winging it. There's no plan. I've said it in all the group chats I'm in this week. If Mickey Mellon's style is to go long and pick up the second balls, tell Mike Fondop he's your main man from now to the end of the season and build around him. Stop pissing him about and dropping him and pulling him in and dropping him and pulling him in. It's not right. I don't know how he's not been in a whinge because it's not right. He's scoring these goals and then he's being dropped. He's being brought on then and we look back. It's not the style of football I want to see. But if that's where Mickey Mellon thinks it's going to work, he's had 4 promotions, 5, sorry. He knows best. So work around that then. The long throw. It feels like we're doing the long throw to just try and win a corner. It's ineffective at best. Regan Ogle, they're getting shorter. So I'm not surprised because every time we get a throw in their half, he's going up to launch it in the box. It's predictable. It's slow. They look devoid of confidence from top to bottom, from front to back. Long term, I'm really worried because he's brought in these older lads on short-term contracts, and it feels like to me, and I'm hypothesising that Melanie's thinking, I can get these lads in, I can get up. If we don't go up, all these go. It's a massive rebuild, and he might not fancy it. But your likes of Jez, your Hammonds, your Lundstroms, your Suttons, your Hobsons, your younger lads, these need to be kept around and blooded in now and given minutes, because if we have got a rebuild on for next year, I want 4 or 5 lads who are already here and know the club, and let's try and do something with them, because we ain't going to be going splashing your cashes on more Norwoods and Raglands and Conlands. That's not happening next year. It's not. Final point, and this is again about Mickey Mellon and not liking younger players. Last game of the season against Wealdstone, we'd not won 1 in 14. It was a complete dead rubber. Now, on dead rubbers, last game of the season, what do you usually see in the team?
Reserve players.
Youngsters, reserve players. On that last game of the season, he started Harrison McGahey, he started Liam Hogan, he started Andy Dallas. All these lads were going ahead of Hammond, Lundstrom, Hobson. It's illogical, and this is not what I want for Oldham Athletic. And the wheels are coming off badly. And I don't know who, but someone in and around the club needs to get a proper grip of it, because the Rothwell's very good money is being absolutely wasted. Over 40 players have come and gone. Someone put Mellon's record on today, 24 wins, 20 draws, 17 losses, or something like that. Given our resources and our budget, that's not good enough.
Yeah,
So
but let's look at it from this season, because that's adding on last season's defeats and whatnot, innit? I mean, we've lost 5 times this season, which is not bad, is it? You know what I mean? So I think it's a, you know, I mean, we'll see between now and the end of the season how many more games we lose, how many more games we win.
We've addressed this before. We only lost one more game than Chesterfield last season, didn't we, or something? It was something silly like that. And look how many points ahead of us they were. We only seem to be beating your Braintrees, your Bostons, your Tamworths.
Forest Greens.
Forest Greens in September. We've not beat a side in the top 8 since September, Matt.
Right, I'm just look. The thing is, we're 5th. There's a lot of panicking going on, and
Massively.
I will say I'm concerned about the
Yeah, I
run
am.
of forms, right? But I'm not panicking because there's plenty of times to turn it round. There's new players coming in. We did not play well on Tuesday night. There's no doubt about that. But you know, it was poor. We didn't play well on Saturday either. It was poor. We didn't play well at Hartlepool. It was poor. So look, there are things that need sorting out, and it's on Mellon to sort it out, and it's up to the play. So the thing is, what's going wrong? That's the question, isn't it? What's going wrong? Is it the training? Is it in the players? Is it the manager?
No, we're playing
something's
better
gone wrong.
teams.
But this does happen, doesn't
It's
it?
the principles of play.
We're playing better teams as well.
Patterns of play. There's no creativity. There's no movement. There's no penetration. There's no style that we're playing. There's no identity. It's long ball, pass it at the back. No plan B. We're not moving forward. There's nothing there.
But up until Christmas time, we were all really happy with how it was going because we were effective when we were winning games.
Wealdstone, we scraped through that. We scraped through it, didn't we? Because we had one outstanding player in Josh Stones, who turned the game around, didn't he? Single-handedly got 2 goals and did really well. Braintree, we were very lucky not to concede a penalty, you know, in the first half against. But again, Josh Stones, again, who was that player to come in and do the business. We were relying solely on a short-term loan deal. There's no long-term strategy. There's no tactical. There's no tactics. There's nothing. There's no third-man runners. There's no playing in the thirds. There's just nothing. We don't even play into the channels because we've got Josh Kerr, who's not a winger, playing as a winger, and he's getting shelled out by the fans, and he's not playing in his proper position. We haven't got a right-sided winger, have we? You know what I mean? There's nothing there.
Can I just jump in, Dave?
On this point about, I mean, whoever Halley is, called sexy out Dave out for his reaction. I was just panicking. Panic is not a reaction that actually solves anything. What I'm saying is I'm concerned, and the club will be concerned, the board will be concerned, the manager's concerned, the players are concerned. Panicking never solved anything.
No, it's
right?
not.
So it's up
but
to them to do.
You've got to talk about the facts.
Well, the facts are that we've lost 3. We're on a bad run.
We're on a bad run because
yeah.
we're playing bad football.
I know, yeah.
And we're playing the
Can
same.
Can I jump in, lads, a second?
Sorry.
Given the style we play, I'm going to give you a positive spin. Given how we play, I thought the second half against York we played well.
We played much better, but York had already won the game, hasn't
Game
they?
over.
But it's not. That's our ceiling with that style.
The thing is, what I would say, Gaz, is that when we were playing well earlier in the season, we were doing the things that we're not doing well. We were doing them. We were playing long balls. We were playing it higher up the pitch. We were putting teams under pressure. We were being direct, but we were playing some good football as well. So we were mixing it up. So I think that we've stopped doing what we were doing. We've stopped being an effective team. And
Do you think that's because we're playing better teams, though, Matt? Look at the teams we've beat this season. We're playing better teams. To come off Tamworth, Boston, Wealdstone and Braintree, to then play Aldershot, Hartlepool, Eastleigh and York, it's a massive step up.
Well,
and the team, them draws at the start of the season were all against. In Mellon's words, in them 5 games we drew, well, these are the teams in and around us and we've not lost. So that's fine. We'd have beat them teams before Christmas with this patched up team we've got now. It's fodder. Anyone should be beating them. But when these next 6 games now, we're going to really see where we are. And I hope to God that he knows what he's doing and he's got something up his sleeve. Because even before there was a ball kicked on Tuesday, that horrible feeling was back creeping in around the ground. You could feel it again, where we're being somewhat. I'm sick of seeing this on Twitter. We're being out-battled. No, we're not being out-battled. We're being out-footballed.
Yeah.
We're being out-footballed.
Yeah, we are being out-footballed. But I do think that there was a lack of leadership and character on the pitch. And I don't think that the players weren't trying. I think they were trying.
No, they were trying.
They were putting effort. I'm not saying that, but there's a lack of
Game plan.
leadership and planning on the pitch and an organisation and communication between players. I just don't. Norwood's throwing his arms up in the air because he's not getting on the ends of the balls. He's getting frustrated. His body language isn't good. And then with no Conlon, there's no talkers. They don't seem to be talking to it. So
with
on
Pet,
the pitch,
with Pet and Rossiter coming in,
and
it
this
might
comes back down
take
to
a bit of time for them to settle
Yeah,
in
but
because Pet looked decent.
we
didn't he?
need that, don't we? And look, you can bring that back to recruitment and say that you're not bringing the right characters in. I don't know. I don't know what the answers are. But the thing is that we've got to stay in the thing is we need to move on, guys, in a minute because we've got quite a few people calling, but lined up. If you are in the queue, can you put your camera on so that we can see who you are before we let you into the studio?
One thing I'll say before I whiz off, Matt.
Yeah,
you cannot blame the players here. They are trying. It is not the players down in tools here. They are having a go. I know some of them are struggling at the moment and making errors. They don't go out to do that on purpose, but they are trying.
No.
But they need something from the other side. They need help.
but they're also the same players that pretty much that were doing well before Christmas.
Yeah, against shit fodder. How many times do you have to keep saying that?
We played everybody. Before
Yeah, look at
Christmas.
the team. Look at the games we won. You're talking out. You're talking.
Well,
pipe.
no, we played everybody. We played everybody once, and we were fifth.
Look at the teams we beat, and now let's look at the
So now
teams
we've got to
we've
play.
beaten.
So now we've got to play them all again, haven't we?
Listen, you can turn chicken shit.
That's
into
just
chicken
like that's
stir fry
just
all you
that-
want. It's crap.
That's just a fact. A fact is that we played everybody in the first half of the season. We were fifth. We was in a good position with games in hand. Up until Boxing Day, things have gone sour. That's true. But there's no reason why that can't change again. That's what I'm saying. It may or may not. Look, Mellon has to get us at least into the playoffs. And if he doesn't, then he's going to lose his job, I suspect.
Well,
But we'll see, won't we?
Quick reminder: we were fifth last year. I think it was early
Yeah, but
February.
this is this year, guys. There's no point going
No,
back
no,
over
no,
last
no,
year.
no. Listen,
but-
I've been
this
saying
concept-
things like
you
seeing
can't-
people.
I think for
you can't
balance,
keep
there is
switching it
there is
off.
concerns like
There
last
was-
year, isn't there?
Well,
There's-
people are saying things on Twitter like Mellon can't manage after Christmas. Well, that's obviously a stupid comment. What difference does it make before Christmas or after Christmas? So that's just not.
The facts you've just alluded to. This is the point I'm making. In
Well,
February
we're having a
last
bad
year,
run, aren't we? Yeah.
but we were fifth last year in February. Yeah, with a
Right,
game in hand,
I
5 points
understand
inside the playoffs,
Yeah,
and we didn't win a single game. So you can't. In what we've done this year, what we've invested, you can't be getting upset at fans for panicking, for getting unrest.
I'm not
because
getting upset at
it's a
fans.
worry.
I'm just not panicking myself. I'm just not. My reaction is different. That doesn't mean
I'm
I'm getting
panicking.
upset with everybody else. I'm just
I'm
people
panicking.
can panic as much as they want. I'm not arsed. It doesn't affect me. But what I'm
panicking.
saying is that I'm giving my point of view. And that's that I'm not panicking yet. Look, he will be judged at the end of the season. There's not going to be a change of manager between now and the end of the season.
No.
We've got players in. They have to deliver. And we'll see it game by game. Absolutely not been good enough this year since 2025 has started. We've been shit, and it's not good enough.
Yeah.
It needs to change, and we need to solidify this. We need to try and get. I think now, looking at it now, I think Forest Green, Barnet, and York will finish in the top three. I don't think we'll finish in the top three. So we're looking at fourth, fifth, or sixth.
What do you think of recruitment? What's the strategy? What's the recruitment strategy?
I think that we recruited well in the summer.
What's the recruitment strategy now? What is it?
haphazard, in my opinion.
Well, we've said it already. We said that January is a difficult time to sign players, and that I think we'll
strengthen time 5. What's the recruitment strategy?
Right,
now?
all right, the right players, Gaz, the right players.
What's the recruitment strategy?
Well, we all know what the recruitment strategy is, don't we?
I don't. I'm asking you. I don't know what it is. I'm asking. What do you think it is?
I think we're panicking, mate. We've lost Clucas, we've lost Stones, and that Waters. I don't understand that signing. I wish the lad well. I think he'll do. I think he will score goals, but I don't understand the signing. Rossiter, we needed someone just to replace Conlon, in my opinion. Then Corey Evans. Well, I'm not even going to say anything about that. Signing a player who's not played, who's injured, injury prone, and then gets injured.
Hang on, Tom. Why do you constantly criticise me on Twitter and on here, and then never actually call up and talk about it? So that's my bad too.
You
know what I mean?
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, stop being a fanny and get on and have a chat with us. But look, the thing is,
Tom, Pet, he comes with some good pedigree, and but we've got no pace now, so we need to get some wingers off.
Why didn't we sign Pet before Evans? Why did we only go and get Pep when Evans got injured?
Guys, we're going to have to move on, mate. We're going to have to move on.
We've got about 12 calls, mate.
Yeah,
But thanks, pal. Cheers.
Thanks for getting in touch, guys.
Cheers.
Enjoy traitors. Right, who should we bring in?
Brad, let's do it.
Brad.
Positivity, come on, Brad.
Are you buzzing?
Oh, I don't know. I think my head's
Are you
fell off.
buzzing for Gateshead?
Yeah, I can't wait. I might as well watch it from my house because that's how I found the pictures. Can't see
No,
the thing,
yeah.
can you?
No, I was going to go, but I got a gig, so now I don't have to. I'm glad I don't have to be honest with you. But
yeah,
look, guys, Brad, you've seen us play. You've been to pretty much every game this season. Are you panicking, or are you just? Do you think it's just a bit of a blip?
I'm panicking a bit. Obviously, we're all scarred with being Oldham fans. We all know. We all expect it to happen. To be fair, Aldershot for the first 40 minutes. If you would have said a team's going to be winning at half time, you'd think it was us. We battered them for 40 minutes. They couldn't get near our box, and then it was just 2 brain farts before for half time, and we just absolutely completely lost it. But my biggest concern is the recruitment at the moment. I don't think I've ever seen a club. How many signings are we on now? 6. This in January we're on.
Mm.
6, and we're probably going to sign. We're probably going to sign another striker tomorrow. So that's 7.
Leak Pet, that Jordan Leak Pet, Dennis, Corey Evans,
Rossiter,
and
Taylor,
Waters.
Yeah,
That's 6.
Yeah, and we're going to sign a striker tomorrow as well. So there's no consistency. Rossiter has played 2 games. He's had 4 different midfield partners already. How can you play when you don't know who's next to you and you're changing it all the time?
I like him. He looks like a tidy player. But
I'm not having a go at the lad. I'm not having a go at the lad.
No. But what I've seen, I think he looks all right.
Yeah, he looks like a steady player. But how can you be consistent? Teams who go up and do well have the same 11. Before Christmas, all of us here would name our starting 11, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
You would know what your starting 11 is. Now, it's a guess. It's like throwing, like, the Alex Reid thing, it just totally baffled me. Fondop is your top striker. He's the one who's effective at playing this football. He wins headers. They don't always go to the men, but he's effective at what he does. Reid ran around well, and yeah, and then we loan him out. I just don't get it. Like, what we actually doing? It's just all panic, and we're just rushing. Waters reminds me of Kurt Willoughby. I'm just baffled.
Of the first names on the team sheet, the settled team that we were talking about, a lot of the players that are on there are not performing. So we see there seems to be a collective slump in standards and performance levels and whatnot, and we've had loads. So we've had loads of time, like, to rest and that, and maybe we've lost momentum, for whatever reason.
But you're upsetting the squad dynamic by bringing all these players in, because you've still got the likes of Charsley, Hammond, Khan. Who all right. Khan has scored, won us a game against Ebbsfleet. Charsley was on fire until he got injured. Hammond is very energetic. So it's just bizarre why all these midfielders are coming in for me.
The Charsley one is the one which I just don't get, because I thought he was a really good player. At the start of the season, he was the one who I thought, bloody hell, he's a good signing him. And since he got injured, is he not fit? But he just doesn't fancy. He's not even making the squads anymore. So again, it's like we're signing players just to replace him. I know Lundstrom probably plays where he does, but you can switch them to around and not play the Josh Cader, he's never a centre attacking midfielder in all his life. He ran around like an headless chicken.
I feel sorry for him. I do.
I just don't think he's good enough. He's just not playing the right formation. We don't play with wingers.
It's like the Lundstrom syndrome, where he didn't do that well, and then he just needs a bit of time to get in. Because Oldham, again, the pressure of playing at Oldham is completely different to playing at Fylde. He was a big fish in a little pond, weren't he, at Fylde? A bit like Lundstrom at Altrincham. So you've got to give the lad a bit of time. However, Tommy Hammond here we go. We've stopped playing football again. The midfield doesn't midfield because all they're doing is lumping it over the top of him. They're not. There's no two-touch passing. And the person who started all that was Conlon. As much as he got the grief, he was the one who started every sort of attack off. He'd pass it out to Lundstrom, he'd go outside, then knock it wide to Kitchen, back inside, bang, goal. But Conlon is a dictator, isn't he? He dictates the play as much as. And I was in the corporate on Saturday, and I said, "How long are you out?" I said, "Because we desperately need you back." And he just said like 4 or 6 weeks. and I can't wait for him to get back.
4 to 6 weeks from now.
Well, from
And that's without playing a game, is it? And getting to match
exactly.
fitness, so
National League Cup, get him into that, then crack on. You know what I mean?
But yeah, like I said, Ogle's completely lost fan. I'd drop Ogle. I said it after Saturday. I think he needs a rest. Sutton or Hobson, you got to play Sutton or Hobson there. I would have played them anyway.
I think you got to play Sutton, because I think you bring Hobson, it's just more direct football. I think like Raglan. I mean, you know, there was one ball Raglan played on against York where he actually played it through the midfield and tried to find Alex Reid across the ground. But other than that, it's just that big long ball to kitchen
and I don't think they have confidence in the keeper as well, because it seems like every shot at the moment is going in.
That first goal against York was a disgrace defensively as well. That was
just defensively, disgrace. the whole team. I mean, let's the goals that we've conceded. We've conceded 3 goals in the last 2 games from just a direct punt up the field, from the keeper. It's just, and that's just not good enough. And you can blame the keeper all you want, but it's a team game, and it's the team in front of him have let him down. So I just don't like picking on individual players. I just don't think it's any good. I think we're before Christmas. It's like, oh, we're all in it together, and then after Christmas, it's like we lose a few games and the knives are out, and that's what pisses me off a little bit. I'm as disappointed as anybody that the results in 2025 have been so poor, but. Turning on everybody and looking to point the finger and blame people for it, and at the end of the season we'll see what the season has been, won't we? And there's a lot more football to be played yet. We've got to play all the teams above us. We've got to play the teams around us. And do you really think, Brad, that we have lost so much impetus and ability that we now won't make the playoffs, or do you think that we just having a bad patch and things will settle down again?
We've got a good amount of points on the board already. I think we need 30 points, really. So it's 10 wins. Surely we've got half the games to play. We're going to win 10 games. 10 games, I'll get 30 points. So I think we should do. But if we do not make the playoffs this year, and I mean this now, Mellon needs to go, Darren needs to go, and we just need to start again, because they're not taking us forward. If you cannot get in the playoffs from this position, then it needs to be a complete reset of a new manager, a director of football. Darren can stay and do his business side of things, but keep away from the football. It needs to be a complete change, because we are not going anywhere. We'll be entering the 4th season, and we wouldn't have made the playoffs in all 3 of the first ones. But I don't see us not making the playoffs. So hopefully that doesn't.
Yeah, there's a lot of catastrophizing going on, and what if at the minute. We let's just kind of. Let's wait and see. First of all, the season is far from over. If we carry on playing like this, we will not make the playoffs. There's no doubt about it.
Exactly.
But I do not expect us to carry on playing this poorly for the rest of the season.
Teams do go through spells of not winning. Even the teams at the top do.
Chesterfield went through it, didn't they?
Yeah, this might just be our run where we're just not picking up points, but we need some consistency back. We need to be playing the same players, picking the same players, not signing. It seems like when we lose again, let's sign a couple of players. We just need to keep the squad, keep some harmony, because I think we used a third amount of players in this league at the moment. I think we used about 32, 33, and all in the summer it was all talk about we need a smaller squad and stuff like that. We're back to a bloated squad again. I know Andy used to say, look at the programme from under Unsworth from last season. It was a massive long list, and it's probably about the same. If I'm probably right.
But it is better than last season, isn't it? Or it has been so far this season. So I think what we need to do first and foremost is shore it up at the back. We've got to stop conceding such soft goals. And
Halley nails it. It's Tuesday wasn't. It was the manner the way we lost, not the actual loss. And I have to agree, it's how we lost.
We're
the game.
scared. Tuesday.
Yeah.
I thought we started okay though, didn't we? We started okay, and then we sort of like backed off and let York come into it. But then we gave away 2 soft goals again, and that was our undoing. We were never going to get back into it from there. If we'd have kept it tight.
Is it Sinclair who won the free kick? And you might as well have put it in the Oldham Times that he was going to go through his legs. And Ogle just dived in. It's the only thing he could have done. We were all speechless. I was saying,
but he should have took him down much further. Yeah, he knew he was done. He was beaten. He should have pulled his shirt, got a yellow card, free kick further out, rather than doing it right in front of the D. But You know, I mean, so that's why it's those kind of little decisions, that kind of decision making that is infuriating. And then, of course, we were all completely flat-footed for the goal, weren't we? In the box when it went in.
Nobody
Like,
followed it in.
nobody was on their toes. Nobody was on their toes.
Well,
You watch the video of it back; they're all just stood there
Shit.
flat-footed.
Shit.
You know, and it's not good enough. And that's on the players. Do you know what I mean? That's not on the manager. That's on the players. So they've got to be alert and they've got to be switched on. So
Right, Brad. Before we let you go, predictions for Saturday, mate.
I think we might draw 2-2. Desmond.
Desmond.
we've not beaten Get Said yet, have we, in the league?
We need to.
No, I don't.
Well, they've
don't
lost
think
the
so.
midfield maestro and Callum Wheeler, haven't they?
We lost.
They lost about 4 or 5 players, but somehow they regenerate a new player who's like some end up being better.
Yeah, they're like the bad Terminator in Terminator 2, aren't they? They just kind of regrow their limbs and just keep going.
Yeah, exactly. And they end up like there's still runners around them. They always seem to be the best passing side, and that's our biggest concern. Teams who get out wide and pass it round. That's where we struggle a bit.
Yeah. Well, here's to struggling on Saturday. Thanks for calling, Brad.
Cheers.
Have a good day on Saturday. Take care, mate.
Cheers.
Bye. Let's have a chat with an old friend of the show from. I'm not sure if he still lives down in London with hobnobbing with the elite.
But
Your type of guy, Dave. I'm not going to lie.
Ollie Hammond look-alike.
There he is. All right, Ed.
Go.
Good evening, gentlemen. How are we?
Are you all right?
Yeah.
How's life on Fleet Street? Are you still doing that kind of thing or what?
Yeah. Busy away, but I was at the game. I was at the game on
phone
Tuesday.
hacking, yeah, all that kind of thing. Go on. You were at the game on Tuesday. You came up specially.
And I was there for Saturday. Probably should not bother for the rest of the season because I was there for the Solihull game as well.
Yeah, don't ever come again.
I think it's been touched on by Gaz and Brad and yourselves, and that comment which is up on the screen now by Hallie. The manner in which we lost against York, the money that is being put in by the Rothwells, this whole we've got to get up as soon as possible kind of thing. We're 5th at the moment. 5th just seems to be our ceiling that we can't break through. I know that we've got games in hand. But York, I'm sorry, they look streets ahead. They look fit. They look sharp. They had intent. They had purpose. We look lost. And
We didn't have a game plan. We didn't have a game plan. I don't know how many times I need to say we didn't have a game plan. It was hoofball for 70 of the 20 minutes. And again, Aldershot, we had a bit about was in the first 40 minutes. But then we got it on the break with that great goal from their player. We didn't have a game plan. We don't have any principles of play. We have no footballing pattern. We have no creativity. We have no movement. We don't have any penetration. We don't play through the lines. We don't play to thirds.
All right, Dave. Ed was just about to say something positive off the back of that. I'm sure. Go on, Ed.
Dave finished off quite nicely there because he's spot on, really. Teams have kind of figured us out, get it to the full backs, which is Caprice and Kitch, and, their aim has been to bomb forward. That was completely nullified by York very well. I think, did anyone witness Caprice trying to play left wing for about 5 minutes before half-time? What was that all about? And obviously going off the news recently that Reed's gone back to Wilston and Jez has gone to Eastleigh. Panic is definitely setting in the fan base. I bet it is in the boardroom. I bet Mellon's scratching his head. It's all feeling very uncertain at the moment. And I'm not panicked. I'm going to sound like a disappointed parent here. I'm just disappointed because it's
you're going to write a curt letter.
I'm just disappointed because if you get angry after all these years, then it's going to be an early death, isn't it? Because we are used to it. There's burn marks on our hands that fans from other clubs will never have. But again, the season's falling apart on January, and it seeps into the fan base, and we react. And I bet you any money the players read it. The 5th division footballers, they're naturally curious. So I just think that will seep through. And it just looks a completely different team. Braintree away seems years ago. And I feel like this is all a bit self-inflicted. The Stones debacle, the Clucas contract. I read somewhere that some senior management didn't even know that Clucas had that clause in. Now, I don't know if that's true, but if it is true, then it just stinks of amateurism. And we've acted quickly, got these new midfielders in. One's already broken down. Reed's gone back. Striker's coming in tomorrow, apparently. They're spinning, and they're spinning fast.
Let me ask you a question, Ed, because it's an interesting thing. I try as much as I can not to go too far back and too far forward and stay in the present moment. But I think York are a good example. York finished below us last season, right? So they didn't have a good season last season. But they've miraculously become a different team. Now, you would look at us earlier in the season and say, well, we've become a different team. We were up there before Christmas as talking ourselves about are we potential title contenders. But the trajectories of clubs is an interesting thing. And York, came up, they were promoted, and then they had a season they could say they solidified in the National League, and then they went again. Our momentum has been for so long going in the wrong direction. Is it just one of those things with the club that it is ultimately going to take a lot more time? Notts County came down here with too big for this division. York came down with too big for this division. Stockport came down with too big for this division. Chesterfield, but they all stayed down here for quite a long time. So the precedent is that teams like ours that are in a very, that are heavily, the momentum is going the wrong way. It takes them time to recover and turn it around. So is this just part of the process, or in that respect, is it too early to sort of like be blaming people for how the club is run and things like that, or what? That's just a bit of an open question, really. What do you think?
Yeah, I think blame is easily dished out when fans such as ourselves are frustrated and starved of success for so long. And because we have been starved of success for so long, we're desperate for it. Each level that we've gone down from League One to League Two, you remember the first season in League Two when the season ticket sales went up, decent bit of signings, the expectations there. We come down here. I mean, did someone mention that you look at the programme from the Unsworth years? But even then, people are expecting us to be top and challenging. And
yeah,
you are right. It is a process.
There's
it is a
no
long
divine
process
right for us to be expecting that, is there?
No, no, you're right. You're right. We're here on merit. We're here on merit with everyone else. But I think fans should have that expectation. And, people may mention the fan base or the stadium size or our history. It's all rendered mute, really, because we're here with everyone else. But the investment, that is proportional to different teams. That is different. And we are in quite a blessed position to be funded by the Rothwells. Now we're fifth again. And if we do fail to go up this season, he should be dismissed. That's my opinion. And he should, he's failed his target. And I don't really have faith, unfortunately, if we finish 7th or 4th. Can you really see this team stringing 3 wins together with big crowds behind them? I've seen nothing to suggest that they could do so. So, yes, the process
apart from when we went on those winning runs earlier on in the season.
Well, you mentioned those winning runs, but I think if we can talk about the calibre of the opposition, I think there was.
We played everybody. We've played everybody and amassed 44 points. So if we did that, again,
you can't say that's the.
Well, what do you mean by the calibre of these? We've played everybody.
Right. Yeah.
Yes, we have.
And if we do the same again, then we'll finish the season on about 88 points.
If we win.
If we do the same as we did in the first half of the season.
Yeah, but that's if.
Against the same teams.
Yeah.
But are we on that
go on, Ed,
at the moment?
Go on.
Are we
no,
on
we're
that
not at the moment. No, we're not at the
moment.
moment. But we weren't at the start of the season either when we drew a lot of games. So,
that's fair.
We could replicate the second half of the season, which was we sort of start the second half of the season quite poorly, but then, grow into it. I don't know. We're all hypothesizing, aren't we?
Matt, my point was, okay, right, we finished with 88 points. That's not going to win you the title in the National League, sadly. That may not even get us third. Okay, we're in the playoffs. I was at the Barnet game. They were way better than us. Forest Green, we won, yes, but I thought they were the better footballing team. But at the end of the day, we did win.
Yeah. We were better in the first half. They were better in the second.
York, way better than us, like I just mentioned. Streets ahead. The Gateshead game, I can't really remember. I did think we were quite better on that day.
Well, they played crap first half. Second half, we came out, didn't we, and went for them, didn't we? And we were unlucky not to win, I think, against Gateshead, weren't we?
I think what I'm trying to say ultimately is I'm struggling to see us win 3 in a row, basically. We get to Wembley, the occasion would be so huge. Can those players handle it? I don't think they can, but that's all in theory.
Yeah, I think there's a really, really valid point to say that the players crumble at the big occasion. I think they did last season. I think this season the big occasion was York. Apart from that, we've not really. Forest Green was but it wasn't like a big crowd, big away, and but it was.
It was a good atmosphere.
They haven't pulled it. They haven't delivered consistently on a big occasion. I agree. What I would say in terms of I'd rather us have a dip now and finish the season strong than be good now and end the season weekly, because I think if you're going into the playoffs, you need to be on form going into the playoffs. I think our title challenge is over. I'm not that positive and delusional. I don't think we're good enough to win the league.
That's a shame, isn't it? I think that's just such a shame. And you're completely correct. It is over. It's done. But from where we were, a month ago, if we were having this conversation now, you think, oh come on, we're in with a hell of a chance.
What was your expectation at the beginning of the season, though? My prediction was that we'd finish 5th. So I didn't expect us to be in the running for the league title. I didn't think that what we had last season was enough of a basis for us to go on and become a championship winning side. That was my feeling. And so that's why I'm not disappointed. I thought it was great that we were in the title race at Christmas. I think that there's stronger teams in the division, but I thought there was anyway. So we are behind the stronger teams. Now, they're not bigger clubs. They're not better clubs. But they're stronger teams than what we've managed to assemble so far. So, if we finished third, I think I'd be really happy with that, because then we'd be one game away from the playoff final, and that can still be achieved. However, I don't think we will. I think that Forest Green, Barnet, and York are better than us, and we'll get more points than us.
My personal expectation before the season, pre-season didn't inspire me a lot, but naturally, I think people are allowed to change their minds. And when we went on that winning run and sweeping, shall we say, fodder aside and looking like a decent team, naturally one will get their hopes up.
Absolutely, I did.
I think everyone did. But and you touched on that we don't have a divine right to expect the title. Of course we don't, and we've been reminded by that from several other fans who seem to think that we do believe that. I don't think any Oldham fan truly does. But I think that we have the right to be disappointed that we're completely out of the running now in halfway through the season, especially because of how quickly it's fallen apart, and it feels very self-inflicted.
Oh, agreed. Yeah, I just think the signing. I just don't get the signings. A lot of them. I understand why we're doing it, but it just seems all just rushed. It doesn't feel like there's a strategy in place. I could be wrong, but it doesn't feel that way. It's a bit going back to the uns with it.
Well, if it's a strategy, it's a very strange strategy, isn't it?
Exactly.
So they're obviously panicking.
Yeah, there's something not right.
But we do have to. They can't
win on that front, though. If they don't sign anyone, the fans will go.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a bit of a mess at the moment, and they've got to get themselves out of it. I think Mellon has to deal with what he has at the moment. We can't just keep signing players. He's got so many at his disposal. He has to make this work. It's down to him.
There's no point by bringing in midfielders from the divisions above us and not using them. That's just crazy. So we've got to start passing the ball. We've got to start playing through the lines and passing and moving and doing the normal.
The basic principles.
But yeah, we can go along sometimes, and it's handy to have that as an outlet. And, Fondop's got to play. That's the case as well. Like someone said earlier on, it's Gaz. I think it was. But I still hold the fact that Mickey Mellon knows more about the game than we do, and he's been a manager for a long time. It's up to him to get it right. He's got to earn his money, and he's got to show us what he's made of, because that's his job. So let's just hope that he can do it. Ed, we're going to move on to Ryan now, but I would just ask you, where do you think, based on where we are now, where do you think we'll finish this season?
5th.
I said 11th. Still sticking by it for now, mate. But yeah, it's yours.
I mean, we finished 5th, we're in the playoffs, and then we have something new to experience. Some of our younger fans, for the first time they've ever experienced it, won't it? So
yeah, they didn't have to see Alan Blaney. But I think... but if Dave's right and we start slipping to 11th, it will get very ugly, and so I really hope that doesn't happen. Well, take care.
Me too. Thanks, Ed. Say hello to Rupert Murdoch for us.
Cheers.
Bye. Let's bring Ryan in.
Right, lads.
All right. How are you? You all right?
You all right, pal?
I'm all right. I'm not too bad. A bit happier than Gaz, I think, but just about. I'm gonna try and be positive, and then I'm gonna be pretty negative. So
Right. Balance it out.
Balance it out, yeah. The first positive is if we make the playoffs, I actually think that playoff football will suit us. I could be wrong and we could get twatted, but playoffs, as a general rule, are tight and teams are nervous and they don't want to play expansive football. And that is how we play. That's how we're going to want to play. That's not how Barnet are going to want to play. That's not how Gateshead are going to want to play. And Gateshead and Barnet players are going to be playing in the biggest game of their lives. It's not to be the biggest game of Norwood's life. It's Caprice, those kind of players. And weirdly, if we make the playoffs, I think we might do all right. And
you know, based, I think that's a really good point, Ryan. And I think that it made me think of the big games that we've had in the FA Cup, Tranmere away and Leyton Orient away, and how well they played away from home. And so would being away from home be an advantage? Because we do seem to bottle it a bit at Boundary Park in the big occasion.
Yeah, this is it. And I actually think that I can tell why Mickey Mellon has gone up in the playoffs. I can by the way we play, and that's the positive, right? And if we manage to make the playoffs, I do quite fancy it. Maybe it's just the fact that we haven't done it for that long, and I'm dying for it. I don't know, but I do think that it is our kind of football, in all honesty, and it isn't the way that other teams want to play. But there's a bigger picture going on, in my opinion. And Andy, for example, on the podcast, what he's always said is if we go up, I can see us being able to bounce the way up because we'll have been set from, and teams build on what they've got, right?
Yeah.
Whether we go up or whether we go down, whether we go up or whether we stay down, how many of that lot bunch of players are going to be here next season? Because we've only got 7 under contract, apparently. I've been reading on Twitter. How many of them are going to be here next season? It's all being built on sand, this. It's all being built on a churn and churn and churn and churn and churn. It isn't... This division, you mentioned York have gone from the bottom to the top. You can go from the bottom to the top really easily. It's I say easily, but teams do it all the time. Teams drop from near the top to the bottom because there isn't actually that much difference between the bottom teams and the top teams, really. Look at what they called who went down last season. Boreham Wood, the year before that, they were in the playoffs. Teams go from... And if you recruit well, if we'd have recruited well, we could have done it instantly. You mentioned, Matt, the fact that look at Wrexham, look at Notts County, look at Stockport, how long they'd stayed down. Right. Being a bit of a geek, I decided to have a look at how long after all the teams that got an average of 6,000 through the door, how often, since they got took over, how quickly was it for them to go up, right? And most of them did it really quickly. Basically, they got took over and then they recruited well. They made the playoffs. Every single one of them made the playoffs within the first 2 seasons, except for one. You can guess which club that is, and it's us, right? Everybody did it within 2 seasons, other than us. And all of them went up within 3 years. So we've got to do it this one. All of them.
We are a bit of a special case, aren't we? I think in terms of just our performance over the last 30 odd years. Like we've been the worst team pretty much to support, haven't we? I mean, like Southend, they're a comparable club to us in some ways. They don't have the same history, but they have a similar fan base. Obviously Luton came down and went back up, and Grimsby did. But there are teams that come down and struggle, and I think the ones that do come down and struggle are the ones whose histories have been poor. and the club have been decimated, and they've been, I mean, obviously Stockport rebuilt.
We were no more decimated than Luton were.
Yeah, that's
no
a good
way.
point.
We were no more.
But they're all individual. I'm trying to make the point that they're all individual cases, aren't they? And look, we've got to make the playoffs this season. There's absolutely no question. Like, it will be a huge failure not to make the playoffs this season. So I think then if we don't, then there'll be a lot of serious questions will have to be asked internally and by fans, and rightly so. But we're still currently in the playoffs, so I'm not worrying to that degree just yet.
To me, it's not this season that's the worry. It's the future that is the worry. If you go back a couple, there's an argument to be said that in what year we're at, 2022, in October 2022, when Sheridan got sacked, or September 2022, when Sheridan got sacked, we were in a much healthier position as a club than we are going to be coming up, because we will have had more money. We'll have a lot more fans through the door, and optimism. Fans are turning the backs, because it's like we were promised that this would be different. We were promised that this would be different. And what this is reminding me, what this is reminding me of is when the Three Amigos turned up. Great intentions. I think they turned up with good intentions. What did they do? The first thing they did is they put a duffer in charge. The duffer wasted a load of money. What did we do then? We then got on a bit of a roll, scraped into the playoffs, and Blackpool blew us out the water. And then after that, really, the money more or less dried up. And I feel very sorry for Frank. I do feel very sorry for Frank. He spent all this money, well, as much as I can feel sorry for a millionaire who's got more money than me. But I feel that he's got to be paid off. Everybody's blaming Darren Royal, but I don't know the inner workings of the club, no more than quite a few other people. But whoever is in the recruitment at the club, he's absolutely stinks. It absolutely stinks. There's nothing to build on. We've got nobody to sell, really. We've got nobody that you'd be thinking he's going to be with us for 3-4 more years. Lundstrom possibly, but is he out of contract? I don't know. And it's just all the way through. It's just short-term fixes. And I've seen a few people having a go about this, the Jez signing and saying, well, he was crap anyway. And yeah, he probably was, but I didn't really mind that as a one-year flyer on a young player, that if it works, because I've got a mate who's a Dale season ticket holder. He said to me that on his day he's good, he'll either click or he'll be out of the league in a couple of years' time. He'll be playing for Dog and Duck or whatever. It'll be one of the other.
Can I just want to make a point? What you said before about the club being in a better position. And it kind of thanks to Tom here, who still hasn't found the courage to call in. But
Tom Pussy Davis?
That's the one. What happened over the last 30 years what happened in the history of the club is always relevant when you get to the point where when Frank took over the club, we had nothing in terms of infrastructure, facilities. Everything was outdated. There was, all interest in the club, all sponsors. There was a stadium and there was a team, but there was very little left. There was the fans weren't engaged. The fans weren't involved.
Mascots, you know what I mean?
It was absolutely shocking, right? So over a period, it wasn't necessarily over 30 years, but it started 30 odd years ago, and then it declined and it declined and it declined. So when Frank took over and everyone's walking down the road and, we've got this influx of season ticket holders and all that, everyone's excited. Yeah, we had more people coming through, but the situation at the club wasn't any better. It was going to take time to put in place sustainable business models and look for how to better use the stadium and the facilities and start bringing in the kind of money in a sustainable way, because we know the Rothwells can't keep putting it in. So that's all being taken care of. So in those respects, the club's better off. Now, football wise, we made a terrible decision in signing David Unsworth. And that was probably the time to be bringing in maybe a director of football and definitely somebody who'd been at this level before and had started off at a club. Unsworth came into a club with nothing and just wasn't prepared for it because he'd been at Everton for most of his career. So yes, there have been mistakes that have been made, but the club in so many ways is better off now. Now the fans came in for the first 2 seasons because they were like, yeah, this is going to be great. But now a big chunk of them have left because they're like, well, no. So, you know, I mean, I don't know where you point the finger at that. You know, fans are fickle. They want to watch winning football, don't they?
I think last season it was due to towards the end of last season, the style of football. They didn't want to see it, and that's why we lost so many season ticket holders. I think as well. That was one of the main reasons. But as Brian says, the football recruitment, there's no tangible business strategy because we've got no one to sell, as he's just alluded to, because we're not recruiting correctly.
Exactly. And you've mentioned there, 3 times you mentioned the word sustainability, right? How can it be sustainable if we've only got 7 players next season that are still contracted to the club? That's not a sustainable business practice at all.
Well, these are all questions that can be asked of, you know, the club and Darren and fans forums and all that kind of thing. You know, so far they've been open to these kind of things. So it's up to them to answer these questions, isn't it? At the end of the day, what I try and do is offer balance and different perspectives to people's points so that we cover all the bases. But I'm as disappointed as anyone of the way that things have gone since Christmas. But I was happy up till Christmas with the way things were going.
Yeah. But there's a few things with that, and I agree. Everybody was happy because you're winning. If you're winning covers all ills. Let's be absolutely honest. It does.
Yeah, of course it does.
If you're winning, no one cares. I'm sure every club it's the same, right? But there's the old adage: you shouldn't really accept something in a win that you wouldn't in a defeat, right? So if something's crap, if something's not right and you're winning, it should be called out as much as, because when you start losing, people start calling it out. So not many people were calling out the recruitment before somebody's.
That's because we were recruiting players that were winning. We had players that we'd recruited were winning games.
Yeah, but they were all short-term fixes, right? And I don't know.
Only Clucas and Stones were really regulars in the team that were a short term, weren't they?
Well,
everybody else was under contract, wasn't it? Everyone else is under contract. It was only really Stones and Clucas that were the short term.
Depends what you mean by
some
short.
Other loan players.
It depends what you mean by short term, because if there's only 7 that's still there for next season, then I'd argue that that's short term. It was a 1 year deal.
I think. Don't you think that the board have to look at it and say, well, we're not going to sign. We've signed these players on like Lundstrom on a 2-year deal and other players like that, but they need to go up this season, so they don't want to be extending contracts or. I think, the other person who's got an extended was like Sharon did because of an appearance thing, Hogan because of an appearance thing. Mike Fondop got an extension last season for another year, and then he signed for another year this year. So,
and there's a lot of players that we want to go in, that we want to get rid of. There's a lot of these players that we don't want to be staying in, and obviously we've got to undo a lot of the stuff that has happened in previous seasons, unfortunately. And that has restricted Mellon, my thoughts are, rather than panicking and thinking everything's going to go to shit, my thoughts are that we're going to make the playoffs and that we'll either go up or we won't. And then next season in the summer, once we've offloaded a lot of players that we don't need, we'll sign better quality players in the summer. That's what I'm assuming and hoping is going to happen. And then that the experience that we've had in this division, the experience of the playoffs, if that's the case, we'll go on and kick on. That's why I was so desperate to get into playoffs last season, because I think it's a great experience for the club and the players to go through and to taste disappointment, because I don't think we would have gone up, and obviously we didn't. But I think it's kind of like a bit of an incremental thing. I think we need to experience the playoffs, and then we'll sign better players next season on probably 2-year deals again, because we can't. We've had our fingers burnt for anything more than that, haven't we?
It's difficult. It's a couple of defeats. Everyone does get panicky, and I'm the worst for it. And everyone says, "Oh, you're having a meltdown." Well, no, I'm just really worried about the style of football that we're playing at the moment, because it just doesn't seem like we've got a plan B, plan C, and You know,
But we have got an identity, though. I mean, I've heard it a few times. We haven't got. I've heard of a few people. We haven't got an identity, and then what they do is they decide to tell us exactly how we're going to play it. Well, that's your identity. It's just an identity you don't like.
Yeah, we're very direct.
But I'm not panicking because I know people throw it. But Mellon, he's been here before, right? But if we don't make the playoffs this year, I think Brad was right. It should be a clean house. But I don't know what a CEO does everybody's just going to blame Darren Royal and just about the recruitment. But we should have a look at whoever the assistant head of recruitment is who's been doing well. I can't think. Stockport. That's just the first person I can think of. Whoever the assistant is there. Right, we will now promote you, and you can be our head of recruitment. That's what they do in other fields. They have a look at who's doing well in other places, who's proven it, and take their second in command and bring them over. That's what we should be doing.
It's again, as you say, we don't know what's going on, do we? In terms of the. In terms of what goes on behind the scenes, I mean, it's all surmising because we've had a few run of bad results. But thanks for your call, Ryan. I really appreciate it, pal.
Cheers, mate. Thanks a lot. See you around, mate. Right, should we bring Claydon in?
Claydon.
Can you put your camera on, mate? There we go. How are you, mate?
Here he
Not
is.
bad, how are you?
Yeah, well, we're buzzing, we're buzzing.
Yeah.
Very happy.
Yeah, got loads of games coming up to enjoy.
Yeah, no. I just wanted to comment on a few things, really. I think, like I say, everyone's panicking, and I think it's only natural to do that. I think, really, this is a simple fact of people reacting to the fact that we were playing well with Sam Clucas in the midfield, who's a player who's way above our level, who really we shouldn't have had in the first place, who we had on a short-term deal, and then he's gone to Lincoln, which ultimately is the level he belongs at. And then we had Josh Stones again, a player who admittedly is signed for York, but in my eyes is a player again who could play easily at a higher level. The difficulty with it is the short term without signings, because sorry, dog's barking. Difficulty is with the short term nature of those signings, because those signings don't come off, and then as a result, you're in a situation where you've gone from two players who are in the spine of your team, and all of a sudden those two players are gone. And then, Tom Conlon getting injured at the same time, another player that's in the spine of your team, and then all of a sudden your spine is gone. You've got an entirely new midfield, and you're expecting to create chances when these two players have never played together. And then you've got a strike partner up front with Norwood again, and you're just trying to figure it out. Billy Waters has to be the weirdest signing, considering how Mellon plays, I've ever seen at a football club. It's absolutely bizarre. Like, nothing on the player, because he's obviously a player at a higher level, and he's by all counts a good player. But if we play direct football, why are we signing a player who's 5 foot? What is he, 5'7" or something?
Yeah, you have to play. You have to play into the channels, play to feet, or
play
between the lines.
It just doesn't make sense.
It's the same argument with Norwood, though, Claydon. It's like we've not played to his strengths. Like we've not. It's been so frustrating, the Norwood signing, because he should be bagging 25 goals a season, no problem at this level. 30 goals a season. I know he's had his injuries and stuff, but we don't get the best out of him either, do we?
Do you know what? I'm going to say something. I'm going to get stick for this, but I thought Unsworth's style of football, not the results, his style of football suited James Norwood more, because he seemed to score a lot more in the outset when he first started, because he played to feet, played through the lines. But then Mellon's a very direct sort of player, so that maybe, I'm not saying Unsworth is a better manager than Mellon, or he was the saviour, he shouldn't have been sacked, because the results obviously didn't show. But in the first stages of Norwood coming in with Unsworth, he did score quite a few goals, didn't he, in terms of how we played the game, because we played it to feet, and we went wide with wingers in it like a 4-3-3 sometimes. But Waters, I have to agree, it's a strange signing. But again, it might be a case of letting Tom Pett settle in, Rossiter settle in, Conlon coming back in and seeing what they're going to do. They're going to go like a 3. I don't know.
It's going to take time, and realistically now we're in a situation where we've got a run of games which realistically we need to be in a situation where we're competing. We're not going to compete at the level we're used to because you've got players who come in and now have to gel together. You've got a brand new midfield, so it's just going to take time. And I'm just fed up of hearing it's going to take time. Do you know what I mean? That's the frustration, and that's the frustration from fans is because you've got short-term planning on what should be long-term plans. Like Mellon should be sat there going, right, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. He knew what the situation was. He was in control with bringing in Lucas and Stones. He was in control with those signings.
There is signings, aren't there? There is signings. He's responsible for recruitment.
Let me just put this point across then, just as I try and play devil's advocate, right? So if we'd have brought in, so this season, all right, so that Unsworth gets sacked and Mellon comes in, and that we're thinking long term, and we're bringing in players, and we say, and they're saying to us, this player is going to be a player. Give it a couple of seasons. This player is going to be a player. Give it a couple of seasons. Everyone's going to be saying, what we signing all these players for a couple of seasons? We need success now. So
they did Josh Lundstrom though, didn't they?
Well, you could have got players like Regan Booty when he was available, and Gateshead signed him.
Maybe
there are players that York have signed. There are players around us that teams have signed
but
that are younger players, and that's not an argument. It's the difficulty it's the approach we've gone for, and Mellon's gone for is he wants players who've been here, done it, and got the t-shirt. He wants players with experience who are veterans. How many players has he signed over the age of 30? Do you know what I mean? We've got to go up. I don't know if we do, but we've got to surely have the oldest squad in the league because it certainly feels like it. But it just seems like, oh well,
it's not so much that the squad is old. It's not so much that the squad is old. It's that because a lot of the youngsters just aren't making the team. They're in the squad. It's the older players that are making the first 11. And obviously, I assume that Mellon's take on it is that older players, experienced players, are what you need at this stage in the season, and that's why he's doing it. There is a method to it.
Yeah,
it's just not working at the minute, is it?
Well, with regards to the players under contract, as before what Ryan was talking about, beyond the summer, we've got Ogle, Monthe, Conlon, Kerr, Waters, and we've got options on Lundstrom, Norwood. I don't know about Caprice and Charsley. I think Charsley may be beyond the summer, but that's thanks to our Chiswick reform candidate Andy Halliwell. So thanks for that, Andy. But yeah, it's I don't know.
It feels like the aim's shifted completely, hasn't it? Really. So I mean, the aim for the beginning of the season, we all said playoffs, and then we got into a situation where we had Stones and Clucas, and we were what is this? This is just this gone from a bit of a zero to hero situation in the sense we started playing considerably better football because we had two considerably better footballers. Both of those have gone, and whether you can talk till the cows come home with whether it was right or not. Yeah, we've got no pace. I'm completely agreement.
Ken Drummond, everyone giving pelters. I thought he was all right because Halifax when he came on Jez I like Drummond because he added that bit of spark and pace. But hopefully we're going to get someone in with some pace.
I agree. We definitely do need more pace. 100%.
We just need to run at players.
It feels like one or two things. It feels like either Mellon's like in his head is like I'm either done or I'm just going to keep tripping away, or it feels like he's half in his head going, do you know what, next season and we'll just let's aim for the playoffs. Let's just get in here comfortably. Let's see what happens. Let's roll the dice. And then if something happens and we go up stick, we're in a situation where we're in League Two and we can sign a whole new squad of players that are considerably better and money goes up. Or actually we're in a completely different situation where I've got complete free reign because I've only actually got 6 or 7 players contracted and I can completely rebuild and do what I want to do. But I feel like he's had time to be able to do that already and he's not done it. So it's one of those things. The Josh Stone situation is just a massive kick in the teeth. It's just, from York's point of view, what an absolute double win because one, you get a player of Josh Stone's quality, and two, you kick us in the teeth at the same time. It's worth an extra $100,000 on him just to kick us in the teeth because look where we are now.
Devoid of confidence, and just getting outplayed and outfoxed and out.
It's just immediately removed one of your opponents from a title race by signing one player.
And the fans are going to be if we lost to York, are going to be on the back of the board and turning on ourselves. So yeah, it's a great strategy, and that's why Matt Uggler is probably a billionaire because he looks at things.
The guy's a prick, but what an absolute move!
I tried to invite him on the phone in just so he could show us how funny he was. Yeah, because he was tweeting and stuff, but he's not responded.
because he's a pussy. Yeah. Anyway,
no,
cheers,
I think
mate.
there's things to be positive on. I think it's just one of those things. It's going to take time, and in 5 games, you might be having a completely different conversation, saying, "Do you know what? We've turned it around," and hopefully, we're saying that. The one thing I would say, and last thing to finish is, we're in a bad run of form now. This is when you want to be in a bad run of form, because if we can pick up form towards the end of the season, go into the playoffs, hitting it hot, anything can happen. So we'll see.
Look at Blackpool them years ago. The last 10 games, they won the last 10 in, and they got into this. They pipped into the playoffs, and they were straight in form for the. So it's great to have that run of form towards the end of the season. You'd rather have the blip now.
Right, I think he's just collapsed. Someone call it, an ambulance, and we hope he's all right. So cheers, mate. Good call. Thank you. David, have you got your camera on, mate? Just so we can see who you are and we'll bring you in. Are you there? Or sometimes people end up watching the show through this link rather than actually being able to contact. But we like to see you before so we know who you are. Do you remember, what was it, Ben Bittner?
Oh.
We don't want to repeat it. We don't want to repeat that, do we? But we know Ibby. All right, Ibby.
Evening, sexy Dave, Matt, you okay?
Yeah, sound. How are you?
I'm all right. It's been a very good show. Just disappointed with the results. I can understand why the fans are getting worried, but it's still early days. Anything can happen in this league, but Mickey Mellon needs to start funnying about with the squad, needs to bring Fond up and keep him in there because he's our main goal scorer. And we need to get him back in there. And just disappointing, guys, because since Christmas, the wheels have come off. But I'm not going to start blaming the manager because he's done a very good job this season. But if we end up losing Saturday, I think the alarm bells will be seriously ringing.
Yeah, I think
they're ringing already. Personally, I think there's a lot of people out there who are worried now. But yeah, I think you're right as well, Ibby, that if we lose on Saturday, it's a tough game, and they're a good side. So
someone put in the chat before that they've lost to Halifax and Braintree at home. Boston, sorry. So yeah, they're not on good form at home, and they still insist on playing it out from the back. So hopefully we'll press them. I think Fondop, the guy said it before. Fondop came on and made a big difference on Tuesday night, putting himself about and causing chaos. I don't think we can ask any more of Fondop this season. I think he's given us goals, he's given us his passion, his work rate, but the other players that have played up front with him just haven't delivered, and that's what's disappointing for me. Waters came in, had a great opportunity to score in his debut, missed a penalty. Norwood's not delivered this season with anywhere near enough goals. Reed's obviously gone to Wealdstone again, but he's not delivered for us again. So we still, I think, are lacking. We've got these new midfielders in. We need to play it to them and through them if they're going to have an impact in the game. But we need more goals, Ibby, don't we?
We do, but hopefully a striker should be done tomorrow. They tried to get Jordan Rhodes over the line, but there's a bit of issues on that. Blackpool are not willing to do a loan deal, so they've gone to the next person, and it should be confirmed tomorrow that afternoon.
Yeah, well, we need someone who's going to shoot and get, take chances.
He's a goal scorer. He's a goal scorer. He's played in the Championship in Scotland too, and I did see him early on in the afternoon knocking around with the squad, but I won't name him because it's not fair of me saying it on the air. And I just hope he comes in, delivers the goal, because we do need to start scoring. But guys, I tell you right now, if we put 2-3 runs together, we can go back into anything, playoffs. But I think York and other teams are going to wobble for the top 2, and anything can happen. I'm not giving up, guys, because a miracle can happen. We just need to put some wins together and start winning. But I'm hoping that this is the last bad spell we've got, because Mickey Mellon has done an unbelievable job this season, but it can't fail this season. If he fails, I know for a fact he will be walking. But I feel sorry for the Rodwell family because they've invested day and night, and they've made it clear they want to go up. But as you know, this league is no guaranteeing of anyone going up.
No, it's the toughest league.
No.
It's the toughest league of them all. You know, we've struggled to get out of every division we've been in, and this is the toughest. This is the toughest challenge. It really is. But yeah, I think you're right, Abby. I think there's going to be Mellon has to get us in the playoffs this season, and I'm still confident that we'll make the playoffs.
Yeah, did you get Barry Owen on early on, because he did tell me he was going to join the show? It was him.
Yeah, I thought it was him. I could tell by the way that he was just like slagging off Darren Roll. So
yeah, he wanted to come on and speak with you guys, because he spoke to me early on. He said he would be coming on.
Yeah.
Don't give him the oxygen, Ibby.
The link's in the chat for him, but he's never clicked it. But look, Barry's always up to something, and he's had his time, and basically whatever he says about Latics is old news as far as I'm concerned. But so
we just need to be positive. That's all.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, it's a good call, mate. Thank you. Do you think we'll beat Gateshead on Saturday?
I really hope we do, because we've not got a good record there. So I'm going for a result of 3-1, and all Latics fans at 5 o'clock celebrating.
Love it. We've got to close that gap. We're 4 points behind them. We really need to beat them on Saturday.
2 games in hand though as well, so not to worry.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Guy, and thanks for that comment, Chris.
Yeah, no worries, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Bye-bye.
See ya. Right,
wait, can I just quickly mention one thing? Yes. That the February half-term soccer school is on at Oldham Community Trust. It's really good because I have sent my son there a few times, and if you want to get in touch, it's at official OACT on Twitter or X. Now it's formerly known.
Twitter.
But it's really well priced, and it's some great coaches there. And they develop the players, and it is really fun. And even if it rains, they still cater because they have a big sports hall complex as well. So really have a look at it for half term.
Are you on commish?
No.
Okay.
I'm just getting a discount for myself. No, I'm not really. I'm not.
No, but if they are offering, you will take it.
I will take the discount.
Anyway, so before we talk about Gateshead, I think we should, and then we've got 2 more calls that we'll get through very quickly.
Yeah.
Then it's time for bed.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Media assets.
Done this before.
Done this before. Are you ready?
Facts about, and you find out about.
Gateshead. Sir Joseph Swan lived at Underhills, Kells Lane from 1869 to 83, where his experiments led to the invention of the electric light bulb.
The Trinity Centre car park gained iconic status due to its appearance in the 1971 film Get Carter, starring me, Michael Caine.
Oh, that's very good.
Nice, good, isn't it?
The Gateshead Angel of the North is Britain's largest sculpture, designed by Anthony Gormley for Gateshead Council.
It was erected in 1998, weighs 200 tonnes and it's 20 metres high with a 54-metre wingspan, but it has no penis.
It has no penis. Google ran a competition in 2011 and Shaw Street on Gateshead Quay was named Britain's hippest street.
Marcus Bentley, the annoying Geordie commentator of the shit Big Brother show, is from Gateshead.
Record appearances for Gateshead is James Curtis with 596.
Ace Geordie TV kids show Biker Grove was never filmed in Gateshead.
Ooh, Biker! And bin days for household waste.
Facts about, and you find out about.
Gateshead
is on Wednesdays. So there we go. Just to bring a little bit of
panache.
Yeah, and just break up the panic. So we had David lined up, but he's disappeared. Forget about this. I'm not trying to them too.
Let's bring Ben in.
Chat with Ben. Ben before bedtime.
All right.
Yeah, you.
Yeah, good mate. Yeah. To be honest with you, lads, I haven't been to a lot of games this season. Obviously, I watch it on the stick and that because I work a lot of Saturdays. But I've been to the last 2 games and it's crazy because I think it's still the same old Playava, which I know you guys probably like him, but I think Hudson is awful. I think he's a massive, massive downfall in terms of not so much his shot keep, but I stood there on Tuesday and he just persisted on doing the same thing. And that was to launch it to Fondant, which it doesn't take a brain surgeon, but after 10 minutes into the second half, both centre halves just doubled up on Fondant. It's just I don't understand where people come from when they say about, Hudson is, a really quality goalkeeper. Because for me, the second one, all right, Raglan should have cleared it, but it was a soft save. It could have probably put a bit more to it. But his distribution of the football, I think, massively cost us when we're under the cosh. The ball comes straight back at us.
Do you think that's how he's coached, though? Because he's coached to go long and go direct.
I'm not sure, Dave, to be honest, because he had the same problem under Unsworth and the same problem under Mellon. Now, we've got two different goalkeeping coaches in that time, haven't we? So they can't both surely be doing the same thing. And there's no way Unsworth plays the same style as the Mellon does.
He went short against Wilson and cost us a goal, so there might be a bit of a confidence issue there. But I think he's got a lot of credit in the bank. Obviously he's made a mistake against Halifax. He made a mistake against Wealdstone. Well, he made two, didn't he? To be quite fair, against Wealdstone. However, I think the first goal he had no chance because the defending was that slack and poor. But when you've got a defence that concedes so many goals off corners and set pieces, his confidence is going to be shot in some respects. So. I think there is questions over him. Don't get me wrong, but
he's not the only one.
But he's not the. That's what I'm saying. It's the defence as a whole. I've got questions over.
I think the way I look at it is last season he was good for us. He finished the season pretty strongly. I thought he was quite good. He made a lot of saves and whatnot. And this season he was part of a solid defence. The whole defence, and you have to look at it like that. Earlier on in the season, the defence and the goalkeeper were very effective, and recently they've all gone to pot. And so the question is, why are the whole team not defending as well as they were? And he's part of that. So I think I'd rather look at it from that point of view of why the team isn't defending well, rather than sort of picking on Hudson personally.
It's not so much picking on him, Matt. Like I said, his shot stopping. I'm not, he makes some mistakes, so does everybody. I don't get me wrong. I totally agree with that. But his distribution of the football is costing us massively because all he wants to do is kick the ball onto Fondant. I mean, poor Fondant, he must have headache, mate, after a game of football, with Hudson, the way Hudson gives him the ball, because he just smashes it. Now, for me, we go on, we've got Clucas in there, Mellon goes on, we've got, we've brought this guy in Rossiter now. Use them. Because, I was stood there on Tuesday, and the amount of time Rossiter is saying to Hudson, give me the effing ball here.
Rossiter did want the ball. He did. It is true that he did want the ball. And Conlon maybe wants it more. But yeah, I think we do. We have to mix up our style of play, and we have to. It starts with the goalkeeper a lot of the time.
But I don't think we do, Matt. I don't think we do.
No,
with Hudson.
we don't.
I think he only knows. You look at York, how well drilled they were on their goal kicks. Every single goal kick until the last 6 minutes was short, and they found a way out.
To be fair,
we don't with Hudson.
I think to be fair, Damien makes a brilliant point that 9 clean sheets under this season until Conlon disappeared and the goals started. But if you remember, Conlon used to come very short, come really short for the ball, and he wanted the ball to start the play. He is a dictator of the play,
which is what, Ben was saying, is what Roster wants to do.
Yeah,
so we have to start giving it to him.
Trust, isn't it? It's the trust of settling in, and you've got remember they've had he's been there a week, couple of training sessions, and then we've lost the game, so it might change the game plan in terms of coaching. But now, hopefully, they've got this bit of time now to, because if we try and go long against Gateshead, they're going to be on deck chairs, them two centre halves, because they're big lads. They'll just mop it up and nobody.
I don't think he knows any other way, Dave. I genuinely do not. I've seen him do it now for over 2 years for us. And I don't think.
I thought you meant Mellon then. Sorry, not about Hudson. I thought, I don't think Mellon has a way of doing that incisive passing.
Well, he doesn't. And that's why, Mellon's was well known for, Route 1 football. And, Disawari, when he had him at Tranmere, the Tranmere fans loved him. He was probably good as an aerial asset. I think Fondant's got a little bit more to his game, to be fair. But ultimately, I know
his touch isn't good enough to do the long ball. No. His touch isn't good enough. No. His older players are, but his touch sometimes really, especially when he comes on as a sub, he needs to be starting. His touch is a lot better, but if he gets dropped to start, it must kill your confidence. It must do.
Yeah, Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, you're looking at, and it's joking aside, but the ball where you do want him to put it in the box should be coming from the width, and it just takes a winger who.
We haven't got any.
I know,
no, they're not out and out wingers, are they?
And I think that is the outcome, guys. Honestly, guys, watching it, I genuinely believe if they had a winger who could beat his fullback and just whizzed it in, I think it'd help us out. I really, really do.
I think we do have to give some credit to Caprice and Kitchen. They are capable of beating a man, and they are capable of putting good balls in.
Well, they get doubled up now. They're getting doubled up.
I know, but part of the tactical battle is when players are getting doubled up on, that's supposed to create more space. So, if you
have a plan B.
Well, yeah, but if you know that one centre half is getting dragged across, then that creates space. So the team have to work that space out. And if you just keep doing the same things over and over again, though, it's too easy to defend. So
I think teams have worked us out. If you utilise Kitchen and cut him off. I don't think there's a lot with Caprice in there, I'll be honest with you. I think he works hard.
I like him, mate. I like him.
No, he's done all right, I think, in this season so far. But look, I mean, I think that Mellon now has got to show us what he's all about. He knows a lot more about the game than we do. He knows his team better than we do. He knows this division and all this. Mm-hmm. If we've been found out and teams are finding it too easy and us too predictable, he's got to make this team more effective. That's his job now in order to keep us in the playoffs. So we'll see.
I agree. We miss Colin massively, and I also think there's a part in it. Since Reed's come back, we've just gone terrible. I don't think.
Now.
I don't think he's a good egg to have in the camp, Reed, at all. And I think we might actually see some benefit in not having him anymore.
Well, I guess I assume he's going to be training with us again, like he was last time. So I don't know. But look,
the season now. Probably
we've got more things to worry about now. I mean, there's a lot of talk about another striker coming in. So hopefully we've got somebody who's going to come in, walk onto that pitch with his head up, chest out, and have the confidence to shoot. We're not getting anywhere near enough shots away on goal. The midfield don't shoot enough. The forwards don't shoot enough.
Link up play we know. They've got to link up. They've got to be intelligent.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that.
The service, to be honest, fellas, as centre forwards is awful. It's absolutely terrible. Do you know? I'm not a massive Norwood fan. I think his attitude's shocking, but I actually felt on Tuesday he worked pretty hard on Tuesday. He ran around and he was getting frustrated. You know, and I'm not surprised.
He needs balls to run onto, doesn't he?
Yeah, but he needs to suck it. He needs to suck it up. He needs to suck it up as well when it's not going his way. He needs to lead that team because we haven't got the Conlon. Everyone they probably look to James Norwood and go, "Come on." But he's that much of that. But so I hope it's an experienced striker who's coming in who can start leading the team, and maybe it might be a kick up the arse.
It's probably frustrating though, Dave, in the same breath because it's awful to watch. And if you're a centre forward who's running around and you think, "Come on, just give me the ball or pass it there," and they can't do it, you're going to get frustrated. Of course, they are. Maybe we need to turn it the other way and think, he's passionate about it. He wants to succeed, and it's not happening.
Yeah, it's like when Cantona went to United. Like he would everyone look. I know I'm talking about United, but when he went out and trained, he set his example. And every time he did play a pass, he'd look at him to say, "Come on," not throw his arms out and dig him out in the middle of the pitch. It's that leadership qualities that he needs because he is said to be a complex character. But I did meet him on Saturday. And he was a jolly nice bloke.
Jolly nice fellow. Yeah, good stuff. Right, I'm starting to get sleepy, Ben. It's bedtime.
Anyway, thanks for that, chaps.
All right, mate. Thanks for calling in. Appreciate it. Cheers, mate. See ya.
How many calls have you had tonight?
We've had loads tonight, and this, because things have gone a bit wrong. Everyone's
Latics football moaning.
Yeah, everyone likes a good moan. But look, long may it continue. Let's hope we have a terrible season from the end of now, and loads of callers on the show. Every cloud has a silver lining, Dave. How do you like your silver linings, Dave?
Wet.
So listen, we do appreciate it. And it's a lot more fun when people call in. It's and we have to do less talking.
An hour and a half.
I know, an hour and a half, 90 minutes. No stoppage time for this tonight, Dave. Yeah. So, Gate said, the pod will be on Sunday as normal.
And if because we have done 90 minutes without any stoppage time or breaks, because we usually put the God's Number 9 media stuff in. You can buy us a coffee.
Hey, don't worry about that, Dave. Listen, we're going to do that's the outro to the show. So thanks for watching. Thanks for getting involved, and we'll see you later. For the podcast on Monday. Hey Dave, did you know that listeners can now buy us a coffee or any other kind of hot beverage? What's your favourite hot beverage, Dave?
A macchiato.
And how do you like your macchiato?
Black with lots of milk. Oh,
No cream?
No.
Well, if you want to buy Dave
Macchiato.
then go to buymeacoffee.com/We Are Oldham. I'll just have a Nescafe.
Ooh. Thank you, listeners.